Namaste. For sure, Vidya. I, JVN, Dr. Chandrakala, Assistant Professor, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's class, we will be going to discuss from the subject Agriculture Biotechnology. Okay, and today's session will be on biotic and abiotic stress. Okay, so when we talk about biotic and abiotic stress, what is stress in agriculture? It's a production or productions of agriculture and stress. When we talk, it is stress is a physical response to perceive a life-threatening event in plant. Okay. So what causes plant as stress? Biotic stress in plants is caused by living organisms such as virus, bacteria, fungi, nematodes, insects, weeds. The agent caused biotic stress directly deprives their host of its nutrient and can lead to the death of the plants. Okay? So the biotic stress can become major cause of pre and post loss. Okay? So how do you tell if your plant is stressed? Woody plant under broad stress can be many symptoms includes yellowing of the leaves, wilting of the leaves that cause developed early fall of the leaf fall will be there, or like dryness will be there, or the plant start dying. Okay? So let's see what is stress here, or we can say stress can be the mechanical force per unit area applied to any object. Okay, when in general terms, when we see stress. So when we talk about the biological stress is not easily defined, but it implies adverse effect on an organisms. Okay? Like other living organisms, plants are also subjected to various environmental stress, such as deficient in water, drought condition, heat, cold, stress, or air pollution, or salinity in the soil or supplied water. Okay, so stress is any change in the environment that might reduce or adversely change the plant growth and development. Okay, so any change that cause a adverse effect on its growth and development of a plant. Okay. So when we see what is the difference between plant stress and strain, okay, the adverse effect of a plant to environmental conditions that are unfavorable to the growth and development and productivity, we call it as plant stress. Okay, strain is the biological change in the plant under influence of plant stress. Okay. So strain can be any physical or chemical change produced by any stress. Okay. So when we talk about this, there comes certain terms like elastic strain. Is when we talk about elastic strain, a reversible physical and chemical change produced by a stress. Okay. Or the stress plastic strain, an irreversible physical and chemical change produced by any stress. The irreversible physical change and chemical change, we call it as a plastic stress. Okay, and the reversible physical and chemical changes, we call it as elastic strain. Okay? Stress response, like we see, the stress stimulus which ensures the state of adaptation. Okay, it depends upon the state of adaptation. When we say eustress, it is the activating, stimulating stress that increase the physiological activity of a plant and thus a positive element for plant development. Okay. Eustress is an activity stimulating stress that increase the physiological activity of a plant. Thus is a positive element. Distress is the adverse and real stress that cause damage to the negative and cause a negative effect on the plant and its development. And when it says zero stress, the stress that is just insufficient to produce a plastic strain. Okay. And when we talk about stress resistance, it is the ability of a plant to survive under adverse condition in terms of stress resistance. That is adaptation, avoidance, and tolerance. Okay. So when we talk about elastic resistance, it is the ability of the plant to prevent reversible and elastic strain, that is physical and chemical, when exposed to specific stress. Okay. And plastic resistance, it is the ability of a plant to reduce as per an irreversible or a plastic strain. Okay. So there are types of stress when we talk. It is like abiotic and biotic stress. Abiotic stress can be radiation, salt, water, temperature, many things are there. And biotic stress like fungi, bacteria, insect, herbivores, and other plants and animals. When we see the stress response, okay, the environmental stress response is like one is resistance, susceptibility, second, and third is avoidance. When we see the stress response with respect to the resistance, it goes to acclimatization, growth, and then survival. And if it is like susceptibility, senescence, and death, and avoidance to survival. It may be preferable to survival or may not be preferred to be survived state. So when we see stress or stress injury, primary stress can be elastic stress or secondary stress. Elastic stress can be direct plastic stress and indirect plastic stress. Direct plastic stress can be subdivided into primary direct stress and primary indirect stress. Okay. Secondary stress can be divided into elastic and plastic stress. And third is the secondary stress injuries. Okay. Stress resistance can be subdivided into stress avoidance and stress tolerance. When we talk about stress tolerance, it can be subdivided into avoidance of elastic strain or avoidance of elastic strain. So tolerance of elastic strain further subdivided into avoidance of the plastic strain or tolerance of the plastic strains. Okay. So when we talk about the avoidance, the plant avoid the injury of the stress by building up a barrier to prevent stress factors entering the plant. Okay. So alpha survival dry habit by sending down deep the roots and penetrate the water table. Okay. So the halophytes secrete the salt out from the leaf, thus reduce the salt content in the leaf. So if we see the avoidance mechanisms, chilling temperature, there is no such avoidance mechanism is there, but for heat, high transpiration rate will be there. For water conservation or rapid water absorption. For UV radiation, also high reflection of transmission and absorption. Ionization radiation, high proportion of non-living and living mass. Salt excretion and dilutions, like, okay. Escape. Plant avoid the injury or stress by regulating its life cycle to avoid meeting with stress. Okay. This is not a kind of resistance, but some short-lived desert plants germinate, grow, and flower very quickly, followed by seasonal rains. Thus, they complete their life cycle during this period. Tolerance, like plant adapt to the stress environment by regulating their metabolism and repairing the damage caused by the stress. Okay. So when we talk about the environmental stress to which plants may be subjected, like high temperature, heat, low temperature, chilling and freezing, water deficient, drought or low water potential, salinity, excess water or flooding, chemical or radiations, pathogen, and different types of competitions. Okay, thank you. This session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. Hope you are satisfied with my digital session. If you have any queries, please mention in the comment box. I will resolve it. Thank you. Namaste.